If you're looking for a camcorder that is great for filming some ghost videos, then I have the perfect camera for you. Coming up. Hey there, welcome back to my camera collection. In today's video we're going to be checking out the Panasonic DVC30. We'll be going over the specs of this camera, then looking at the physical features of it, and at the end of the video I will show you some of the example footage with it so you can get a representation of what it films like and sounds like. And at any point, if you would like to purchase this camcorder for yourself, I will have it listed on my eBay store. And if you have one of these for yourself already, I will have batteries, chargers, tapes, and other compatible accessories linked in the description below. That being said, let's get into today's video. So this camera came out in 2004. It records onto mini DV tapes, and a fun fact, this is one of the camcorders that ghost hunters used in their early seasons, the Panasonic DVC30. Reason why they use that is because it has XLR outputs and you can record in a night vision mode. So this camera does have a Leica lens system in it. A lot of Panasonic cameras have Leica lens systems in them, and they always look really good. I love the way that Panasonic cameras look. It has 3/4-inch CCD sensors in it. It does have optical image stabilization, so it is not electronic image stabilization. The minimum illumination for this guy is 4 lux. It has 2 white balance presets on it, an indoor and an outdoor, along with a manual white balance preset. The maximum shutter speed on this guy is 1 in 8,000. And the minimum shutter speed on it is 1 in 60. The viewfinder on this guy produces 180,000 pixels and is unfortunately actually a black and white viewfinder, which is, in my opinion, kind of a downside because it is such a great camera and they decided to put a black and white viewfinder in it. Along with the viewfinder, it does have a 3.5-inch LCD screen on it, along with a onboard built-in stereo microphone. So that is just some of the specs on this Panasonic DVC30. Now let's go around and check out the physical features on it. So starting off at the front, it does have a very odd lens thread size. It is a 43mm. So any kind of fisheye, wide-angle telephoto or filter that you want to put on it, that's the size that you would need. It does have a manual focus ring on it. In my opinion, it's a little loose feeling. Like it doesn't have any resistance to it. It just spins like, it just feels very loose, and I don't know. I feel like if you had it in a manual focus setting, it would be very easy to bump and lose the focus on it. So I don't know if it's just because it's old or if it's just how they made this camcorder. So kind of a downfall in my opinion. I don't really like the manual focus ring on this guy. Like I said before, it does have a stereo microphone here up on top. On front of it, where it says Panasonic, you'll see a very small little light, and that is your tally lamp. It does have a 16 times optical zoom with a 160 times digital zoom. You have custom preset buttons, 3 and 2 here on the side. So any kind of, if you want to toggle your manual white balance or your exposure or manual focus on and off, you can customly preset those to that. They're kind of like fast commands. Instead of having to go into the menu and switching those on and off, you can actually set those on the side of the camera so you can quickly get to them when you need. It does have a manual focus and a manual white balance button here on the side. The SNS button is your how you can toggle the night vision on and off. It's kind of a white night vision. Sometimes, like the Sony ones are green, but this one's more white. I think that was kind of Panasonic's version of it. Because I did a review on the, what was it, the Panasonic PV-DV800. And it had night vision as well, and it was more of a white look to it. And I kind of prefer that look a little bit better. The green night vision just looks really off. Like it's not appealing to your eye, I guess. The white version just kind of makes everything just look black and white, and that's a little bit easier to look at, in my opinion, than green. On the bottom down here, you do have your shutter and iris, so pretty much how you can change the exposure on it. And then when you're watching playback, it is actually your volume as well. You can change the volume up and down. It does push in like a button, so when you go into the menu, you got your menu button right here. When you go into the menu, you can select things by pushing it in like a button. Pretty much every Sony and Canon camcorder and Panasonic camcorders have this kind of feature, which I think is actually pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention is on the bottom down here, you can kind of see this shiny piece right here. That is your infrared sensor for your infrared remote, and I do believe it is what actually emits the infrared light for the night vision to actually work. Opening up the screen, like I said before, it is a 3.5-inch screen on it. Panasonic really like to put big screens on their camcorders, and I love that. On the inside, you do got your playback speaker here, along with a very small button, and that is your reset button. You do have your playback functions here, so you got your rewind, play, fast forward, record, pause, and stop. Or I guess stop and pause. Generally, I'm supposed to be the camera guy, and I'm the one telling you about stuff. But pretty much all cameras that have that take a tape, they always have this record button here on the inside. And to be honest, I have never figured out what that does or how you use it. So if anybody knows, leave me a comment in the comments, and I'll pin it. Because I don't really know what it does. I've messed around with it, and I can't figure out exactly what it is. Can you hook this up to, say, like your TV and record footage onto your tape that way? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. You do have a counter and reset button, so that is how you set the internal clock on it. You have a mode check, you have a zebra, and you have your optical image stabilization on and off. These do actually act as a couple different things as well. You can use the playback functions as your search, your digital zoom, and your search plus. So like the search negative and the search positive, when you get done recording a clip, you can push the negative search and it'll rewind the tape back, so that way you can watch a quick segment of what you just recorded. And vice versa, you can fast forward it as well and watch a quick clip of what you have recorded as well, without having to go back into the playback menu and rewind the tape and watch it that way. The bars is your, you ever see like the color bars that you see? You can toggle that on and off. And then you have Photoshop, which is pretty much you can just take a picture straight to the tape, or it's kind of like a screenshot. Close the screen there, and on the bottom you do have a little switch here that says auto and manual. So that's how you toggle the camera from auto mode to manual mode, and that's how you can mess with all of the manual settings in the camcorder. Like I said before, it is a black and white viewfinder, which in my opinion is kind of sucky. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And it actually pulls out and actually has some pretty good range on it. I like the viewfinder on it a lot. Underneath, you do have your focus adjust here for your eye for the viewfinder. Along with that, you do have the battery release button here. I don't have the battery in it right now, but you push it, slide it up and out. I have had issues trying to find a battery that is compatible with this camera. I found out that this takes the exact same battery as a Panasonic DVX100. So if you're having trouble finding a battery, just look online for a Panasonic DVX100 battery and it will work perfectly fine with this one. And if you don't have a battery, you can actually plug in on the back here. It's kind of an old school way of doing it, but it's one of those round power adapters, and it needs to be a 7.9 volt power adapter to power the camera. You do have your cam remote, a wired remote that plugs into the back here. You have your FireWire plug-in, and you have a phone plug-in, so your headphone jack, so you can monitor your audio. Traditional spot for your record and power switch here on the back. The only downside on that, well, at least for this specific camera, when I first got it, so the little white button right here actually broke off on the inside. So it's kind of like a safety switch. You usually have to push that in and then you can turn the camera on and it'll click kind of locking it into on or off mode, and that was stuck in there. And there's a local guy that works on electronics, and I brought it to him and he took it out and fixed it. But the only thing is it doesn't lock into place now, so you can actually just switch it back and forth. So it can make it accidentally just power off, but for me playing around with it, it actually hasn't ever just powered off, slid over into the off position and turned off. Yes, it doesn't lock into place, but I haven't had any issues of it just randomly powering off. Up on top, you do have one more custom preset button here. So you have 3 of them around the camera, along with a very traditional rocker zoom here. It is actually a very nice and smooth zoom on it. I like it a lot. Along with your tape eject switch right here. That is actually kind of a pain because it's almost in like a hole. You gotta like really get your finger down in there, pop it open. So you actually have to like push it and then pull the door open, and then it'll eject the tape that way. So if you have big fingers, kind of like I do, you might be able to just get like a pinky in there and open it that way. Now, if you've seen pictures of this camera, you've probably seen them with the handle up here, and when I got it, it didn't actually have that handle. But it does have a cold shoe that handle slides into, and then you can actually see the 2 screw holes that you can actually screw it into. But you can also just use the cold shoe on here for lights, mics, handles if you want. But the handle that it comes with actually has a cold shoe on top of it as well, so that's actually really nice. Along with that, you do have a record button here as well. So if you're, let's say you're filming some skateboarding and you're filming fisheye and you're holding it by the handle up here, you don't have to try and search for the record button here in the back. You can just reach down and push it up here, and you can start filming your skate line. So I think that's a very convenient spot for it. It's kind of in a same or similar spot as like the Sony VX700 and 1000. The last part of this, which is actually kind of a bummer, but the little compartment or the door that hides all of your S-Video and AV plugins is actually broken off. Just a little rubbery plastic piece that covers it, but it stays on pretty good. So hiding under that is your S-Video, you have your external mic plug-in, you have your AV in and out, and this camera actually has a XLR output on it. So that is all of the physical features on this camera. Like I said before, if you'd like to buy this for yourself, I'll have it up on my eBay store. If you have one of these for yourself, I will have batteries, chargers, tapes, and other compatible products linked in the description below. With that being said, let's check out some of the footage with this camcorder, shall we? this video? If you did, make sure you like it. And if you like the content, make sure you subscribe because we talk about old school camcorders on a weekly basis. And on that note, you have yourself a good one.